and hello. And welcome to the Cup TV. Oh no, man, I said it. I was gonna have it right, and I did not have it right. I said it. Okay, go. Take two. Welcome to the Cup TV. Where we put the real and the tea in reality, and we come here first to cut your reality thirst and your television thirst. Anything reality, we do it. We talk about it. And I got very confused at the very beginning because I was thinking about the cup refilled because I just recorded that not too long ago, so that was in my head. But anyway, I'm a mess, but it's okay. I'm still here, and we're here. And I'm Lana, your resident diva, here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because you know I loves me some tea per. And if you have some tea, you know what to do. Hit me up, period. And yeah, I'm drinking apple juice today because I'm just in an apple juice kind of mood. And so I'm drinking apple juice. And guess what? I'm drinking it out of my cup mug, period. Well, you can get your own cup mug and be like me and all the cool kids who have one.
I have one too.
Brook also has one. It's
For it. I just
just
don't know if getting it to grab it.
it's fine, but it's there. All of the cool kids here have one, so you can get yours too. But where you get it from is from lanagcreations.etsy.com. The link will be below in the description. All of that. So yeah, her.
And I'm David Healy, and is that I have an uncle who was an extra in the 80s movie Stripes with Bill Murray. So since he was an extra in that movie, I'm basically famous myself. But I am drinking a water tonight. I had to steal this from my roommate because I've been out of waters for a while.
We stand, and also it is I, Brook, the Brook Hogan of the Cup, the person who deserves more camera time. And I'm also a queer college graduate who plays way too much fucking Smash Brothers. Past couple of days, I've still been playing SmackDown vs. Raw 2007 because I bought a PS2 and I wanted to relive my childhood. And I am drinking a generic bottle of water, as usual, sponsored once again by Mother Lucy LaDuca. Thank you very much.
I wasn't ready. You got to give me a heads up for that. I was not ready. Oh, my
It's okay.
gosh.
We don't need the button. We don't need the button. It's okay. The moment has passed.
I have to do it if the saying is said, you got to push the button. But whatever, it is what it is. We're here to talk about Claim to Fame, Season 2, Episode 1. It has started, it is back, and we here at the Cup promise you this. We are going to finish this season of Claim to Fame. Because, if you know, we did not finish the season of Claim to Fame last season, and we regretted that very much, but we will finish it this season.
Period. And you know what? I am so happy that I'm part of the Cup at this point because this is my favorite reality show right now.
Ooh.
I'm thrilled. At least currently airing because nothing will ever top the amazingness that is America's Best Dance Crew.
Brooke will throw that in there any chance you get. I get you. I appreciate you for it. But anyway, so Claim to Fame started and we meet all of the people who are related to somebody famous at a cocktail party. And I will say this. I kind of enjoy the Jonas Brothers entrance. Franklin and Kevin entertained me on their intro into the mega mansion because that house is huge. But yeah, I was like, they're cute.
I just wonder how many takes it took for Kevin to throw that phone and get it to land perfectly.
Right.
Yeah, if I was trying to do that, it probably would have been worse than JR playing basketball.
We'll get to that when we get to that. But yeah, just like last season, we got 12 halfway famous people, or famous by association.
Famous adjacent.
Famous adjacent, thank you.
I like that.
People entering the lovely mansion here this season. And of course, we have the clue wall back in its grandiosity, looking like a bigger Where's Waldo picture than ever before.
I want to talk about first the intros of some of the people, because of course we never get all the intros of everybody, which I find very annoying because I'm like, so we kind of know who we want to focus on this season because you're not introducing everybody. You just
Mhm.
kind of like brushing past a few people. But I kind of, I mean, the intros were the intros. I'll say everybody was just like giving their two truths and a lie to give people guessing on who they were. How did y'all think the two truths and a lie kind of played out? Do you think it was interesting or just
No, I like that part of the show. It's a little bit different this time because I feel like we were told which ones were the lie a lot in the first season of it. So
Mhm.
now we just have no idea unless we hear it directly from the contestants. So it's a bit more challenging to really decipher which part is the lie. I mean, sometimes it seems like two things might go together better. So it's hard to
Yeah.
tell, but I
Well,
enjoy it a lot.
like with Jane, she mentioned that her thing was her father was a Grammy-winning musician, right?
Mhm.
If you put all three together. So to me, Grammy-winning musician link up really well versus father can kind of be whoever. It can be anybody in her family can be a Grammy-winning musician. Um, but also, it's really interesting to me how some of these people came in and I feel like they were planning what they were going to say beforehand, and it felt like a couple people just had no idea what they were doing when they got up there. Like they seemed really ad libbed in the
Hmm.
moment.
I mean, I feel like maybe I think that's probably why we got some people we just didn't see what they're choosing. Maybe they just weren't prepared and it wasn't that great, or it wasn't that interesting. So they were like, oh, okay, we'll listen to one of your truth or lie. We'll see. Like
Mm.
it's my father, it's my brother, it's my cousin, it's my dad. Like we heard on multiple occasions with a bunch of that, but then it was like, and he's an artist. He's a Grammy winner. He's a basketball player or whatever, NBA player.
Right.
It was funny to me, but I was like, okay, whatever. We're not gonna focus on 12 people, so we can only focus on maybe six of these people. So
Mhm. And I hear you can find their full
mhm.
things online that they said. So I'm not sure exactly where, but Google it. I'm sure you can find it.
You can find anything with Google,
Exactly.
but
So in the
um,
12 intros, did anybody immediately like stick out to you that you're like, this is somebody I want to keep looking out for?
Oh yeah.
I mean, stick out. Yes, yes.
Because Gabriel to
Mhm.
me was like, yeah, this is the guy. This is the one that I feel like is going to be a major player all season. Because not only were his two truths and a lie like very well hidden, like disguised really well, but also he has a plan for how he's going to behave. He's playing a really strong social game, which is really important for claim to fame. And also, spoiler alert, if the exit at the end of the night is any indication, they don't think he's that smart, which is
Oh.
I mean, and I feel like that's the kind of game you want to play. You want people to underestimate you and think, yeah, he's not that bright or she's not that, not that smart, and underestimate you. And then you come in the end and just like tear it up. And that's kind of a nice, beautiful thing. I mean, I might sort of know somebody who kind of play like that from time to time. I don't know. Just saying.
Mhm.
I
I don't
might
know.
too. I might occasionally. just no, no.
You just never know how smart that somebody is. They don't may not know anything about this game. But
I've
it's
never heard of Big Brother in my life. No, no. Oh, HOH. What's that?
what's an HOH? What does that mean?
What's a
Ugh. But I will say this: I did feel like probably all of them had seen season one, so they came in with a little bit of understanding on what they had to do and what they needed to do, and like it's interesting watching the different strategies play out. You got some people like Gabriel who was like very concise and know what he wants and how he wants to play the game, and then you have people who are a little lost and those children trying to find their way. Like Shane, to me, I think is kind of like sitting back, being in that quiet role, observing. She's an observer. Like she's looking, she's understanding, she's trying to blend into the background so people don't look at her and be like, I know who you are, even though people are trying. Somebody tried, but I was like,
but if you watch Claim to Fame season 1, the people that blended into the background at the beginning were the people that they went after. So like there needs to be a balance that you strike here, and I feel like Shane might be leaning a little bit too far out. But also that could just be the edit.
But then you have people in the middle like Hugo. To me, like Hugo is somebody who is playing, who understands and trying to play it up a little bit, but also that I guess now needs to bring it back a little bit. But yeah,
Hugo.
Are we lusting after Hugo?
I am. I don't know about you, but I am.
I am not, but you
I
go
mean,
ahead. Go off.
He's a little bit out of your preferred age range, I believe. But
I mean, younger don't mean I ain't looking. I still look at young boys. They cute. They cute. Cute does not have an age. But he just don't do it for me. Now there's somebody in there who do it for me, but he ain't it.
Now I'm curious. But I did have a few people. I think there were mainly 4 people that stood out to me during the intros, and Gabriel was one of them. Like, how could it not be him? He's got so much personality. But another person who really had a ton of personality and seemed fun was Jane. I was really liking the vibes I was getting from her.
Love her. Love her.
For sure.
Especially
even her banter with the Jonas Brothers, like it was a lot of fun.
And the other thing about Jane, she really didn't get a ton of camera time this episode. She wasn't really featured that much, but I feel like that's kind of a good thing. In all honesty, because usually if you get featured early in the show, it's either you are going to go all the way to the end, cough cough LC, or you're going to be like one of the first couple boots, and I don't think she's going to be one of the first couple boots. I hope.
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, I hope you're right. I hope you're right.
Yeah, I feel like she got a decent amount of camera time. I feel like we saw her because, like, some people. We'll get to that when we get to the talent show portion of this all. Some people we didn't even see what their talent was,
right?
And so I feel like if we don't even see what their talent is, they're not going to be around for too much longer. And so I feel like the people we saw, and so the fact that we saw Jane, I think she's going to be here for a minute. And she got some good spots at the end, and so I feel like she got a decent amount of camera time. Apparently, some people felt like they deserved more, but
I deserve more camera time. But I should be here longer.
Okay, but I also want to talk about this memory wall. This wall of clues, the clue wall. When you all looked at the clue wall for the first time, did anything just pop out to you right away? Like,
yeah. I hate to agree with someone, and we shall discuss it later, but the clues were so freaking obvious. Like, I don't know. That bench was kind of a bit of a dead giveaway to me. And it's a problem they had on the first season too. I feel like a lot of celebrities that are like really exposed, right? Like last season they had Michael, Zendaya's cousin, on the show, right? And his clues really matched up really well, like easily to her. And I feel like in this particular situation, when they have celebrities that are so widely known and so like A-list, S-tier level celebrities, they pick the most obvious material for them versus some of the other people who maybe like they have a famous relative, but they're not as well known as like Zendaya or like Tom Hanks, you know, whoever. And they don't have the same amount of like widespread knowledge that everybody else would have on them. Because when you see a bench in relation to a celebrity, who is the first person that pops in your head? It's Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
So,
I went to the place where that was filmed last year too. I guess that could have been another claim to fame for me. But yeah, I love Tom Hanks. So yeah,
I
obviously
mean,
that's the first
yeah,
thing I think of.
that's the first thing you think of. And I mean, but think about this: when you're somebody like a Tom Hanks, everything Tom Hanks does is iconic. Every movie Tom Hanks is that he has a famous prop or something is like they would have put Wilson on there. You would have been like Tom Hanks. They would have put they put the astronaut, which could be anybody else, but you think Apollo 13. You put you put anything, even if they would have put like an airplane terminal. You like the terminal. Tom Hanks just has iconic things about him that you can't just it'd be hard not to know that bench is from Forrest Gump. Like, come on, it's just
that was the only one that like immediately jumped to my brain. But upon further inspection, there were, but I will not get into those because
we'll talk about that later. We'll talk about that in the spoiler section of the video. Anything that David that popped out to you?
For me, nothing stood out on my own because I didn't study it that far.
Right.
Like as they were showing things, we were hearing them mention guesses, and I'm like, okay, yeah, all of those seem like they could be a possibility. But yeah, just nothing stood out by itself to me, where I came up with something that was not mentioned by the people
somebody else.
So. But you can tell that there's a lot of people really gaming it this season and trying to think. And the person that stood out to me the most that I feel like, oh, you've got your head in the game is Chris. I feel like he is a major gamer. So I don't know. I'm getting vibes from him based on how he's playing that he might be around for a while.
I get vibes from Chris that I think I know who he might be related to, which is kind of
I have a
like
theory.
I have a theory as well, but I'm like, maybe. Okay. I don't know. But I just I don't know.
There are people on this show, both seasons, right, that I looked at them and I'm like, oh, I know exactly who you are, right? Who you're related to. Because last season it was Louise. This season, I am like certain that Chris is the person I think he is.
Oh.
But we'll talk about that.
We'll talk about it. Yeah, spoilers are coming up, fam. So
when we get to it, I'll go first with my Chris theory because I'm probably the least confident of it.
But at the end, we're going to talk about who we think. So if you don't want to stick around for that, we understand if you want to play along. But let's get into. I want to talk about the talent show of it all as well, because I feel like a lot of talking was happening around the house. If anything is important that you want to talk about before the talent show, let me know, because it was just a lot of chatter, a lot of people trying to figure out, getting to know each other, but yet trying to figure out. A conversation happened between Travis and Hugo while they were playing chess and trying to, talking about certain things. Is it their father, is their grandfather, is their uncle, just little stuff to try to figure out. But if it's more, you all feel free to jump in if you have anything that you wanted to talk about before the talent show.
Yeah, I can't really remember the order, but I mean, Travis talking about the photo album, that stood out to me. Like that was a cute conversation about taking pictures with different women celebrities, and it says Travis's girlfriends on the folder. So I thought that was pretty funny.
That is pretty funny. I was like, okay. I mean,
sorry, go ahead.
Would we believe this little high school kid was dating all these celebrity women growing up? Like, but I guess it depends.
I mean, he's a good-looking kid.
He's a good-looking kid, but I guess it depends. And if his father, it's his father, right?
Maybe.
Supposedly.
Father. So we are going with that until we are
go with that, right? Until we're proven wrong. So if his father is a famous something, whatever he is, then it's a possibility he was around these famous starlets growing up, and some of them took a liking to him. So I'm not gonna knock it if it happened or not.
The other thing that was really interesting to me early on was that we seem like we're getting a bit of an alliance between Hugo and Travis early. They were playing chess together. Later on in the episode, they're strategizing together. So it seems like they're going to be working together. Now, does that mean that will last long term? Is claim to fame? Absolutely not. But they definitely are working together as of right now, from what we see.
Yeah, and we see that also people are grouping up together and talking about who they think somebody might be. We see Gabriel and was it Hugo and that said that Shane was very quiet and they can't read her yet. And she was like, "Am I that quiet?" She was like, "Yeah, you don't talk, you just wonder." And then we had Carly was trying to help Hugo, and Travis was trying. All of them were grouping up. It was a lot of grouping going on, trying to figure out how we get together and who we can get out and that. But it's the name of the game, and this is what I like about Claim to Fame because I see the strategy of it all happening right before my like. It's like because this is still a relatively new show, it still amazes me how strategic people are and how strategic these people can be and sneaky. And I'm used to seeing it on Big Brother, and it's like, yeah, because you know what game you came to play. But it's like, but this is Claim to Fame. It's supposed to be fun, but it's still a game.
Yeah.
So it's like,
and I think the advantage of a new game, especially one that has a new format, like Claim to Fame is a format that has never even remotely been attempted before, is that there is no perfect gameplay yet. Yeah. There's not a playbook that you run through to make it to the end, Because even on Big Brother and on Survivor, to an extent for both of them, there is a bit of a playbook you can follow if you want to play this game, this game, this game. Claim to Fame doesn't have that. So you really see a lot of people inventing new strategies. There is a winner. Like, we've seen one person successfully win, and obviously you want to minimize your threat level. But at the end of the day, if they can't figure out who you are, they can't send you home. So,
I see what you're saying, but I think compared to most reality shows, season 1 of Claim to Fame really set a high standard for strategy, especially with Elsie and Logan. They both were like running circles around that cast. And so I'm interested to see how quickly it's going to escalate from there, or if it's going to take a step back or be on the same level. But I do think that they were really strong gamers, and I think a lot of people are going to learn from them.
I think they have a template. I won't say they have a playbook. They have a template to look and see how to play this game, but you can't really duplicate Elsie's and Logan's game. You know what I'm saying? They're going to have to come. Now, what we're looking for now is to see is if this cast will be able to match the energy of season 1. Will they take it higher? Will they stay the same? Is somebody going to be the one to run circles around this cast, or is this cast just going to be so good that everybody is just like so dang good, and it's going to be like, we don't know who's sending somebody who going home this week. Every week is you're at the edge of your seat, and I'm here for it. I can't wait to see the levels of strategy and gameplay, and the fact that this is a new format, like you said, Brooke. There is no right or wrong answer to this. It's like they still filling it out because it's still just one season. They didn't perfect everything in that first season, so it's gonna be stuff probably that could happen in this season that they never even thought about in the first season. And so I'm excited to see. This looks like a really good group of people. I just want to know what their level of intense gameplay is going to be, where the intensity is going to be for this season.
And if you're JR, the intensity is going to come when you jump on basketball and tear someone's bag.
This is the thing. I am not mad at JR for his attempt at basketball when he know he can't play basketball, but make everybody believe that this person that he's related to is an NBA player. We don't know if that person is an NBA player. That person could be a football player, a baseball player, anything else. But everybody's mind now is on the NBA. So they thinking Shaq, LeBron, Steph Curry. They thinking all these other people when his person plays for the Major League Baseball. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. And
I
what stood out to me though, like if I was in the house, I would be like, okay, he's not doing well at basketball, so he's probably not really related to a basketball player. But wait, what if he's doing poorly on purpose? So I won't think he's related to a basketball player.
right.
There's just so many layers you can like go in circles
I
if you
mean, and
don't have
then
much information.
right, and then it's like, what if he is related to a basketball player, and he's just bad at basketball? You know what
He's
I'm saying?
probably
He's just
he probably is
not.
just bad, but I
That's
don't think
why
he's
he's
related.
not in the NBA, so he's not related. Because just because you related to somebody who could sing, don't mean you could sing. So
Yeah.
just because
Who was it? One of them said, yeah, maybe that's why he's here and
he's
not
here,
playing.
exactly.
Yeah,
So, but I don't think his person is even in the NBA. They're
right.
probably playing a whole different sport. But everybody's mind right now for JR is on the NBA. And they're looking at NBA players and not who he wants them to look. So that is smart gameplay.
Yep. Do we have a
Okay.
list of the talents?
I
I'm
did
trying to
not.
remember what they were. So it
I
started
remember
off,
some. I
yeah,
remember
Chris was the
Chris
first
started,
one.
and he sang and played the guitar.
Yeah, and I thought he was really good. Like
He was really good.
I kind of thought he was
That's
going
I
to win the
kind of know he was.
challenge.
I mean, yeah, but then, well, Travis came and
Yes,
blew
that was
everybody's mind away doing the pie, and it was like,
yeah.
what? So Travis did pie, the equation of pie.
Jane sang a song too, which
Yeah,
was kind
Jane
of
sang
cute, but
song.
it
It was
wasn't like
cute,
great.
right? But she did the ukulele. She was cute. Carly did a rap.
Jane specifically was trying to be safe, though. I feel like
Yeah,
I don't think
Probably.
probably. I mean, it
I have
was.
a talent for you. Does this remind you of anybody? Amazing
I was just about to
Grace,
get to her.
how
I
sweet.
was just about to
Oh,
get to her.
Carson,
I
girl.
was like,
how the hell was
what?
she bottom two.
I was like, girl, she was in the bottom.
No,
She
she was
wasn't.
Oh
not.
She
no,
was
she
not
was
on the
not in the
bottom.
bottom. No, she was not.
She should have been.
She should have been. But those sympathy claps kind of gave her. Folks was like, all right, you tried. Oh, I would not have clapped. I would have been sitting there like, girl. But
And
whatever.
Hugo tried to lift a thing, and he could only lift that for like 2 seconds, and then he dropped it.
He wasn't trying to do a freaking overhead deadlift or anything. He did what he was supposed to do. He just didn't hold it.
It wasn't impressive enough. Nobody clapped for him. Like,
I mean, to be fair, he wasn't even in my bottom two because at least he was successful at what he was doing compared to two other people. But
look, JR was very successful at what he was supposed to do. He did that very muchly on purpose. That man was not trying to make shots to make people believe he was an NBA star or was related. He made people believe he was an NBA star or related to the NBA star, and he's not. He's not.
You know, 100% sure. I definitely think he intended to break the Taylor's ligaments.
Oh no! I don't attend. He did no that part.
That's
no.
ultimate chess play there.
Yeah, like hurt
I
my
am so
sympathy.
bad at basketball. I am so bad.
I will hurt myself. And then gain sympathy from everybody in the house. Well, they won't vote me because I was in the bottom two.
40 chess, ladies and gentlemen, and
that is how you play 14 steps ahead, ladies and gentlemen. You plan this out.
And there were a few people who we saw their talent, but I don't even remember their names. Like there was the girl who did the pole dance for like a split second.
Was that Monet?
Maybe the redhead. Is that her name?
Yeah. There's two redheads. Jane's a redhead.
No, the other long hair girl.
Yeah, Monet.
And then we had the guy who
Olivia.
Oh, okay. Olivia is her name.
That's right. That sounds right. She looks like an Olivia.
Yep. I remember seeing that. Okay.
And there's the guy who spray painted love. I mean, do you remember that? He just like had like a easel with like a frame on it, and he just spray painted something on it, and he turned it around and he's like, this is what we need, and he just said spray painted love on there. I'm like,
A montage.
that a talent?
That is a talent. I did not see that.
Just like Lana mentioned earlier, there are some people who are getting no camera time, and we know that they are not long for this world. But it's okay, because every season of any show needs one thing.
Mm-hmm.
That
Purple.
baby right here. Purple.
We need a purple edit.
I mean, Cindy Crawford's niece didn't get much of an edit early on, and she still made it pretty far. I can't even remember her name.
Well, also, Lark became like a powerhouse strategy player too. So, like,
I mean, I feel like in the production, somebody's going to surprise even production.
Yeah.
They're not going to give them much of an edit in the beginning, but they're going to stick around, and then all of a sudden, they do something amazing.
Well, I mean, Dean on Island of the Idols didn't get a confessional for the first 3 weeks, and then he was runner-up and almost won. So, I mean...
Spoilers! Sorry, guys.
The season is 4 years old. If they haven't watched it by now, that is not my fault. Okay? Regardless. I mean, in particular, right, the talent show has always been out of the 2 seasons of Claim to Fame, I have cringed at it so much.
Oh, I like it.
No, it's not bad. I just get really bad secondhand embarrassment. Mm-hmm. So when I do bad at this, it's just like, no, it's the same reason I don't watch American Idol.
I understand the secondhand embarrassment, because Amazing Grace definitely got my secondhand embarrassment factor for this episode.
Yep.
But other than that, I kind of just like the talent show, because I feel like that people just go do something so stupid, or so somebody's gonna be really good and somebody's gonna be really stupid.
And we made a cocktail this season.
I mean, we did a spray paint of love. That was a cocktail this year. So, but saying all of that, the person who ended up winning the talent show and getting a clue from who somebody else was in the house is Travis.
Yay! I like Travis a lot.
I do enjoy Travis. I enjoy Travis. I think Travis is going to be here for a while, because Travis is getting a lot of screen time. This episode, he got a lot of screen time, but he won. So,
I mean, to be fair though, last season, Brittany got a lot of screen time the first couple episodes too. So I mean, we never know.
We never know.
True. That is the beauty of Claim to Fame. There is no power alliance. It is literally just do the damn thing every week, and you have to keep yourself safe on your own every week. I love this show.
Agreed. I was a little surprised though that Travis picked Shane's clue. That's not where I expected him to go. But I was glad he did, because I really didn't have a very good read on her. I do kind of think I know who she is related to now, but that's thanks to other things.
I looked up the Rebus because they didn't really show it for very long in the actual episode. I looked it up before the episode and the filming right now. And now that I have looked at the Rebus a little bit, I feel like I know who she's related to as well. But at the same time, that's part of the thing of Claim to Fame, is if Shane had talked a little bit more, Travis wouldn't have been suspicious of her. It's all about finding that like delicate balance, and we've seen both extremes of it already this season. So we're gonna see if Shane can maybe find a way to keep that threat level down, or maybe even just make herself a little bit more known to everybody and not just like unknown quantity.
True. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Last season, when they got a clue, they showed us what the answer to the clue was, right?
This season is definitely giving me more Masked Singer than Masked Singer season 2, because season 1 of the Masked Singer, right, was like telling you the height of the people when they came out and highlighting the clues and like being specific about what the clues were. This season's like, in season 2 was like, people figured out who everybody was in the first 2 weeks, so maybe we should chill a little bit. Right?
It's also kind of like Celebrity Drag Race, where the first season you knew who they were like right away, and then season 2 they made us kind of figure it out as the season went along. So
yeah, and I definitely is like the way they're doing it now is my preference, but I also am aware that other people just kind of don't care.
Mhm.
Because to me, that's also why I like The Masked Singer so much. Is less the performances and all the whatever. Is more of I like people doing things outside of their comfort zone on TV. I think it's really captivating to watch. Also, I like reality TV in general. So being able to figure out who these people are is part of the fun for us, but it's also it doesn't give us a preconception as to who they are,
Right.
which is pleasant for me.
True. It's hard for me to say which one I like better for sure because I haven't seen how it all plays out, but it's like I love season 1 so much. So I don't know if it would have been improved or weaker if they didn't show us people as the season went along. So I don't know. We'll see how it goes by the end of the season.
Yeah.
But Travis may have won the talent show, but the bottom two for the talent show were
Hugo and JR.
JR.
I didn't make a banner for that.
It's fine.
Mhm.
To be honest, don't agree, but that's just me.
Yeah, I was a little surprised because I just thought Carson was such a lock for the bottom two. So anybody's name other than her was going to be a little bit of a surprise. Like there was a bottom one.
It really was. It was like, baby, you are the bottom.
Yeah.
She should have been the only bottom, but whatever.
No one likes
Sure.
bottom, apparently.
I
But what?
mean, this is claim to fame, not after dark. Anyway,
The big claps really did save her here. I definitely think that she's aware of that, and I think she's gonna try to maybe step up her game. But hopefully there's not another talent show this season for her.
But I
right.
think this is around the time that we really get an all-time star from a character that just spirals and spirals and spirals.
Yeah.
And I love her dearly for it. But
Okay. Yeah.
Carly, you are in the Claim to Fame Hall of Fame.
And here is why. So we get to the guessing. We got the guessing of who is who.
Before we do that, one thing we need to point out, right, is that people are bringing up in front of Carly's face the bench on the clue wall and saying, someone might be related to Tom Hanks, right? Carly is just deflecting, right? And not deflecting smartly. She's going, who else was in Forrest Gump? Gary Sinise was in Forrest Gump.
Right.
And all this other stuff. Basically ignoring anytime somebody says Tom Hanks and like shoving it away, and people are picking up on it, which is
like
very.
she should have leaned into it,
right?
And just been like, yeah, I think somebody here is related to Tom Hanks, and I'm gonna find out who it is.
Yeah,
like
that's
you lean into it.
That's what I wanted somebody to do in season 1. I wanted somebody to start like accusing like a specific person of being related to their relative, because then most people would be like, well, then they're clearly not related to that person, or else they wouldn't be bringing them up all the time.
Right. I'd be like, I think David is related to Tom Hanks. It probably is David. Look at him getting all nervous about every time we talk about Tom Hanks. Like I would play it so cool to be like, I think it's David playing Tom. He like Tom Hanks is his daddy. Tom Hanks is his uncle or something. Like you play into it. Pick somebody who look like they are related to Tom Hanks, and you throw it on them. But she was just so like, what? Like, somebody. Gary Sinise was in Forrest Gump, and so was this. But all these characters didn't sit on that bench, girl. You can't be.
It was just so odd to me because you would think, because everybody else I've talked to about it, right? Because I know a lot of people that have watched this first episode of Claim to Fame because something went viral, which we will discuss momentarily. But everyone I've talked about is like, why would she say it like that? Because that only makes her look more suspicious. And it's like I mentioned earlier, we have seen two people, right, show the extreme ends of both situations as to what you do not want to do in Claim to Fame. Carly talked too much and did not explain away anything, right? Shane did not talk nearly enough, and that has made both of them a target early on, and that is not good for either of them. when this house looks for any reason to send anybody home every time.
But this is the thing. And this is the thing that I feel about Shane that I don't feel about Carly. Carly made it very obvious who her folks was. Like everybody was like, why is she deflected so hard every time we talk about Forrest Gump and Tom Hanks and anything that got to do with Tom Hanks? Shane, on the other hand, is being so quiet. People are wondering, but they don't know who she is. They're like, I wonder who her folks is. I don't know, but they looking. Now they can look, but if you don't know, you just don't know. You can look all day long and you can get all the clues you want, but if you don't know, you don't know. So they can just keep putting her up there if they want to and start guessing and just completely guess wrong and go home. So I feel like Shane being quiet, who now I just looked at a picture of her when y'all were talking, and I was like, I know who she is. I just looked at a picture of her while we all were talking, and I was like,
okay.
But interesting. But if she don't say nothing and don't get too crazy and spiral, they ain't gonna guess. I don't think. Right. They ain't gonna know. They not gonna know who she is. So I think her quietness could help her, but she does need to find a strong alliance who's going to protect her. If she's going to continue to be quiet, she needs to find people who's going to be on her side and protect her.
The only thing I'm worried about with Shane is the fact that Travis got that clue. Because if Travis or anybody else figures out that clue, she is toast. So,
but they ain't figured out the clue though.
They never know.
They ain't figured it out yet. But all right, so let's talk about this. And so we get to the voto booths, as they like to call it. So
love it. It's the perfect level of reality TV schmaltz that I love.
Oh, it is worth pointing out first that Carly tried to get Hugo on a different path with Shane, and
she was Steve Harvey's daughter.
I did not see that.
First of all, if you watch any show of Steve Harvey, either the Family Feud or his talk show or his any other show, we've seen all of his daughters. He has 3 daughters, and we've seen them all, and none of them is Shane. Yeah, absolutely. Lori Harvey is his youngest daughter and the most famous of his daughters because she dates everybody. And we don't, that's not Steve Harvey's daughter. I'm just
you think Carly knows that?
If you are around, your uncle is Tom Hanks, and you are at some of these Hollywood parties, and you network in some of these Hollywood circles, you done seen Lori Harvey out there with Michael B. Jordan and all of her other famous boyfriends that you didn't see. Right. You didn't heard.
I didn't like how she was like, oh, they both have big eyes. Like that almost felt like a microaggression.
I said she picked the one famous black person and said that's who she's related to. And I'm like, baby, it's 4 or 5 black people in this house right now, so it's more than one famous father.
And I'm not going to go anything past that because, again, not my place to comment. No, actually, no, it is my place
to comment. It is your place to comment.
I think, quite frankly, it was kind of rude. And I get the gameplay of it all of like, hey, let's see if I can build an alliance with somebody who might be the guesser in case they want to go after somebody else. If they're trying to come after me, if I feed them info, maybe they'll think I'm useful. But at the same time, what info did you feed him? You just gave him a suspicion. That's not info. It's not like you said, I am positive Shane is related to Steve Harvey, and using the clue wall, here's why.
Family's on there.
Right.
Yeah.
Family's on there.
We're not all related to somebody famous. No.
All of us don't have a famous family. Like, come on.
I'm just saying, if Steve Harvey related to anybody on this cast, which I don't think he is, but if he were, for a fact there would be a Miss Universe sash on that damn clue wall.
Yeah, it would be that or something that say like survey says or something, just something very Steve Harvey-esque, like a mustache, something. It would have been something, but
Right.
anyway,
Tiny
it's a suit.
that toasted plum.
But anyway, so we go to the photo booth, and everybody votes between JR and Hugo, and they decided that Hugo is going to be the guesser this time around, and he has to guess who he knows is their identity. And if he doesn't guess that, he's going to go home. But if he guesses it correctly, that person goes home. And he decides that he is going to guess Carly.
Wait, really?
Whoa. And
You're
she
gonna
was like,
pick
"Yeah,
me?
you're gonna pick me? Yes, sweetheart. He picked you." And my funniest part of that all, Hugo says nothing. Carly's like, "Wait, really? You're picking me?" And he's like,
Yeah.
"Yeah." And
I
she's
think,
like,
was she expecting him to change his mind?
right, oh no, never mind, not Carly. No, yeah, he picked you. It's just
And
like
up there, like, Hugo, I helped you. I gave you information. You know, I'm like, no, hon. No, you didn't. You
you
really
gave
did.
him nothing. You gave him a suspicion, not information. And you just was like coming out of nowhere. Like, where did that even come from? Like, you had nothing to back up this theory. You had nothing to come up with this conclusion. Like, this is the reason why. And your reasoning is because she has big eyes.
And because
Honey,
the word family is written on the clue wall when all 12 of you are related to a famous person.
if big eyes is the only thing you can go off of, being someone related to somebody, you don't know anything about DNA and genetics. Like, you, like I don't get it. But she was stunned. She was stunned that Hugo picked her. How could you? I helped you. I gave you information, and Hugo said,
Yeah, you did. But
and
pretty much.
then he looked at Kevin and Franklin like, "Are you going to ask me the question?" Like, it's like,
Yeah, I think he was ready to get it
he
over
was
with.
ready to get his because she's just coming at him, and he's just like,
The thing that I feel like is getting lost in this is that there's not like a standard age throughout this show. Hugo is 23 and Carly is 39.
Oh, really?
Right?
yeah.
Yeah. And when you were looking at the two of them behaving in this situation, did it really feel like Carly was that much older than him? I'm just saying, because it's
Look,
ridiculous. So,
and this is probably the last time I would ever defend Carly.
mhm.
Age has nothing to do with how you feel in the moment and how you react. You
Mhm.
can be the most mature person in the world, but when you feel like you're being betrayed by someone you tried to help, you get mad. I personally have gotten a little out of character before in my big age of 40 something when people betrayed me in certain games for less money. She was playing for $100,000, which she probably needed because even though Tom Hanks is her uncle, don't mean Tom Hanks give her money. So she probably
Exactly.
needed her own money. And she's like, yeah, I was trying to win $100,000, and I don't even make it past the first week of this game before I'm getting kicked out. And the person I was trying to help betrayed me. So,
But
she was,
okay, but we're bearing the lead here. So, Hugo,
no, we're not burying anything, Brooke. Do not do that when I am on my rant about how people at the age of 30 plus and 40 can lose their minds when they're playing for games and for $100,000. And you betrayed me, Hugo, because you picked me when I was trying to help you. I
I
was
think
trying to
Lana's
help
been
you.
possessed with the spirit of Carly.
I gave you information and scene. But thank you. But Hugo was definitely like ready to give his answer. Like he looked at Kevin and Franklin was like, "Is it time? Can I say it?" And they were like, "Say your guess." And Hugo says, "My guess is Tom Hanks." And Carly's eyes went 2 sizes too big.
I'll be
And it,
honest. I was
mhm,
shocked he did not lose it the second he said that.
Right.
Because she managed to keep her composure throughout the little clock
mhm,
reveal that they do.
mhm.
And for me, I'm like, why did you lose it then? Like when they showed the picture? Because it's not like you don't know if you're
I
going
know.
home or not at that point.
Right?
My theory was she was expecting it to be her aunt, Rita Wilson. And when Rita's face didn't pop up, she's like, crap.
Well, it was supposed to be my aunt.
No, it was
Like,
her cousin Chet Hanks.
Oh,
right?
yes, yes.
But no, but you see, so they do a little countdown clock timer thing. You see the cast vividly react, and of course, Carly is related to Tom Hanks.
Oh,
Carly
wait,
then
her eyes
starts-
got big. Maybe she's related to Steve Harvey.
So
Maybe.
Carly then starts crying. It's not like a sob or anything. It's just like a sad cry, right? And at first I'm like, okay, I understand. I relate. I'd be bummed too. And then she gets herself together and she's having this like really positive talk about how much Tom Hanks has meant to her in her
I
life.
love that.
Mhm.
Because Tom Hanks has always been my favorite actor.
Tom Hanks
So,
is one of my favorite actors. Yeah,
yes, so I
What?
just loved her gushing. I thought that was so adorable, honestly.
yes.
Yeah, and it seems like everything's gonna be okay. And
Yeah.
she's walking off. And then Franklin and Kevin leave, and right after they leave, you see the cast reacting, and then all of a sudden,
A screech out of nowhere. I
Like
can't
she
even
got
do
hit
it.
by a car or something.
Right. It was so like gut wrenching scream. And she's like, I should have been here longer. It's not fair. Like, oh my
She
God.
said, I
best
didn't even
part
get
of
to
this
do
whole
a challenge.
I didn't get to do
You
any
did.
challenges. But my favorite part of the whole thing was these clues were so freaking obvious. Why did they put a bench that's the poster of freaking Forrest Gump? Like
I
these people
mean,
didn't figure that out. And then she goes,
T, though,
why a
T.
bench? It's the why a bench of it all. But also the phrase of I deserve more camera time.
And even they why is it so obvious? Even Gabriel found out, and he's not that smart. Like,
Did he
what?
really hear that, though? I
He
was
heard that because
confused.
apparently he turned around like,
You
what?
really that's cold, man. And then
That's,
the best line of the entire episode is while she's still screeching and melting down and all stuff, you just have Jane in the corner go, I think the right decision was made.
Oh,
It was so perfect.
what do you think Tom Hanks was thinking? Because he probably watched, right?
I'm,
Do you think he
I'm,
was like embarrassed?
on Twitter since the episode aired.
I think
What?
Tom Hanks was a little bit embarrassed by her reaction
Yeah.
because Tom Hanks is known as the nicest guy in Hollywood. He's so sweet. He's so kind. Even when he's being like when the paparazzi pushed his wife and he was mad about it, he was still nicely mad about it. So like Tom Hanks is the nicest guy in the world in Hollywood rather. And your niece who is on the show representing you is like, I should have got more camera time. I did. It could have been more on it. Like you are freaking out. Tom Hanks could give you $100,000. What is you tripping about? Like, relax, girl.
I mean, if he's probably gotten some practice by being embarrassed by Chet. So this probably wasn't that big of a deal.
Probably.
To borrow a quote from Drag Race legend Alexis Mateo, act a fool, girl. I mean, truly. But to me, this is going to go down in like reality TV history as one of the like best meltdowns. Because honestly, the last one I can remember of this magnitude was like Tatiana Del Toro on American Idol all those years ago. Like,
Oh, I forgot about her.
we all wish we could. But it's truly just this is what reality TV is and should be. It was so beautiful.
Okay, so I will say I did pull up an article with Carly, so we can talk about how she felt after her reaction. She felt like she overreacted and said, I was really upset. I think I overreacted a little bit, but I'm an emotional and very dramatic person. I was really angry that I didn't get a chance to play as long as some of the other contestants. I mean, there was no one to be angry at. I was just angry in general at myself and the fact that I was going home. And then that turned into complete despair and sadness. I even say, like, I should get more camera time. That's just so silly of me to say, but I was just saying things out of my mouth.
I mean, I respect a self-aware queen,
Mm-hmm.
but to be fair, I'm not mad at her reaction in the moment because her reaction in the moment is going to be a legendary thing for years to come. So I'm thrilled that we got to see it.
Do you also want to know what she said about how Tom Hanks reacted to her being on the
Oh, I would
show?
love this.
Okay. So she says, oh, he was excited for me. He was like, going on the show, that's your choice. I hope you do well. Best of luck. And she said, I told him that I said, guess what your clue was? And he goes, what? I said, a bench. And he was like, ah. And at first he didn't understand. He said, no, he said, ah. He said, at first he didn't understand the game. And then I was like, it's a clue from your movies. And he said, oh, okay, got it, got it.
Tom Hanks did not watch Claim to Fame.
Yeah, it sounds like he didn't care.
He did
So
not
do your
care.
thing.
But
Tom said, you want to do a show? That's your choice. Good, good,
So-
good on you, girl.
before we get to the spoilers, because they are coming at the end of the episode, I do want to touch on the fact that the premiere of this season of Claim to Fame, right, was watched more than every episode of season 1.
Oh,
And it outperformed The Bachelor or The
good
Bachelor,
for
whatever.
it.
Bachelorette.
Yeah, so 2.51 million for reality TV that airs on a Monday. That's killer. That's fantastic.
Mhm.
So
I mean, I will. That's awesome. That's amazing. I say this: flowers are given and deserved to season one to have such a great season that made people want to watch season two,
Mhm.
and that's why I'm like when people say it out, outplay, out
there were
numbered.
more people watching it than season
Right, like it was more people watching. It's because season one had nothing to go off of,
Right.
and season two had season one to pair, to
Mhm.
trampoline them and catapult them into.
True.
And season one made people want to continue to
Right.
watch
Word of
into this
mouth,
one.
I think, was a big
Yes,
factor because so many
yes,
of us loved season one. We were
yes,
championing it. I was tweeting about it nonstop last summer.
yes,
I
yes.
even
You
got
were.
retweeted by some of the Jonas Brothers.
That's awesome.
So yeah,
Oh, sorry. I thought Eve wasn't here. I have to drink now, right?
I
Right,
guess.
I'm gonna say, do we drink that? But yeah, I love that. I love that for them, and I'm glad that they did that, and they were able to have a great show, and it was a great premiere. I have to say, the premiere was a good premiere. I was captivated from beginning to end, and even Carly's meltdown just added to how fun the show is. And so I am very excited to watch Claim to Fame this season. We will make sure we cover the entire season from beginning to end because it's a good show. It's a good
Mhm.
concept and it's fun and the players make it a good show and they're doing good so far. But go
We
ahead.
also comment one more thing though. The fact that the show has been airing on Hulu, right? Because it's going after. Season 1 is still available on Hulu.
Yes.
So if you have Hulu and you want to watch season 1 and see how much, because we've been hyping it up quite a bit. Go watch season 1 of Claim to Fame on Hulu. You will not be disappointed.
You will not be disappointed at all.
Not at
You will
all.
love it.
We've kind of spoiled some of the things about it. We haven't spoiled any of the relatives that I can think of.
No, we didn't, but it was
So-
good. We didn't talk about that much.
Yep.
But
Well, I
let's
did
jump-
say Cindy Crawford. Oops.
Well, that's okay.
But now-
Well, if you haven't watched season one, that's your fault that you got spoiled. But here we are for season two. We're going to start talking about spoilers and speculations. So, if you don't want to know about the spoilers or the speculations that we have, that we're sharing with you, feel free to leave us now. Also, get your cup merch and
Mm-hmm.
do all the YouTube things.
Follow us
Like
on Twitter.
follow us on Twitter at the Cup Pod and just us individually. Do all these things. We thank you. We appreciate you watching, and we'll give you a chance to dismiss yourselves.
Yeah.
Bye.
4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, spoiler time.
Hold
Okay.
on. Don't jump in. Let's ease him in.
Yeah, he's on down the road.
Ease him down the road. Okay,
Let's
but
go.
spoilers are happening. So I'm gonna ask you all some questions because I feel like you all know some things. Maybe I don't know, but I will say I going through some of these pictures that I just went through to get to this article for Carly. I was like, this person may be, because some people kind of look like, but I can't do that because then I'll be a hypocrite for talking about Carly and somebody with big eyes and genetics and things. But
So
any, let's talk about speculations. Brooke, do you have any speculations you want to bring up?
I don't have any specific speculation
Mm-hmm.
because the ones that I know, I would consider myself to be pretty certain on.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say, Lana, you did mention that you think you had a guess for who Chris was.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I wanted to go first because I felt
Yes.
like I was the least confident.
Mm-hmm.
But I was sitting there watching his face, and I'm like, his face looks really familiar to me. And then when I heard John Mayer, I'm like, I could see that, but I don't think that's what I'm thinking of. And the more I looked at him, the more I saw a male singer, which he said as much, but stylistically, I don't think they're super comparable. But for some reason, I was getting a little bit of Justin Bieber from his face.
I mean,
Probably really off, but that's what I was seeing.
Yeah, I don't see him.
I don't
Okay. Looking at this boy's face, I was like, he looks like somebody that I know. But then he started singing, and I was like, oh, he sounds like somebody I know. And then I'm like, but how? And so I just kept looking at him. He was somebody who I like paused the TV and stared down for a minute. Like when he was on stage, I like paused it and I was just like, this is just my speculation. Could be wrong. But this boy looks like he's related to the Osmonds. Specifically, Donnie
Osmond.
Okay.
Yep.
That's who I think.
I'm about 99% sure this is Donnie Osmond's son.
His son?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Not his grandson?
No, because Donnie Osmond is old, but he got younger kids still.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Chris is in his 30s. I mean,
yeah,
like it's like
okay.
in his teens or anything.
Yeah, I just kept looking at that boy. I was like, it's something about that square jaw and that square head of his that just gave me Osmond vibes. And then I was like, a young Donnie Osmond. So I was like, let me go back. And I looked at a young Donnie Osmond picture and I was like,
yeah, I can see it.
I think
I had actually heard that theory on a different podcast now that you mention it.
Oh, really? Okay.
So I had forgotten about it.
But go ahead.
Yeah, so what I was going to say is there anyone specifically that we all think we have no idea on? Because I'll be blunt, I have no idea who Cole is. No idea.
Is he the one who did the love painting? Yeah, I don't know. He's got kind of he's got a face that looks familiar, almost like a Macklemore face. I don't know.
Not Macklemore.
Not Macklemore. I don't
do that, Cole.
I don't. I'm trying to remember if I remember Cole.
You get a lot of screen time. That's what I'm saying. I think it's hard.
It's hard, but I don't. No. I feel like wasn't he the one that said it's his? He said it was his sister, or
I can't remember.
I'm pulling up the things real quick.
Yep. There was another person who stood out to me as looking like somebody famous.
Okay.
Even when I watched the like preview for the season, like
Mhm.
immediately I saw her and I'm like, oh, this girl, it's Olivia.
Hmm.
I was like, why does she look like she could be related to uh, Carney Wilson?
Mm.
Just something about her face structure reminds me of Carney Wilson.
So,
Mm.
so Cole said in his thing that his father was a Grammy-winning musician. Is what
Oh,
he.
maybe
So
it's his cousin Macklemore.
I
I,
don't think
I.
his. I think he's lying. I think
So
he's lying
Well, he's got to
about
be
his.
lying about one of those things.
I don't think it's his cousin
No, he said father,
or
and
father.
I
I don't
was
think it's his father.
I mean, to be fair, you don't have to be a musician to win a Grammy because there is a
Right.
comedy Grammy, there
True.
is like a spoken word Grammy.
I don't think it's his father.
Hey, no idea. I cannot refute any of that. I'm just saying Grammy is like a lot of people think it's just music, but there's so much you can win Grammy for.
Hmm.
So moving on alphabetically, Gabriel.
I think
There's a
no
lot
clue.
of options.
he has options, but I think I remember something about Gabriel. At I feel like I don't want to say it because I could
He
be
said he does
completely
not look like his relative.
no, and I don't think he does
Okay.
because if he's who I think he is, I don't think that he does, and I mm, I feel like his relative. Dang, because
Lay it
I don't
on
know.
us.
Okay, I'm just gonna say who I think it is. I could
Okay.
be wrong. I don't think because I feel like I remember this person in a video or a song of this person and mention or had mentioned his relative in a song or a person at some time before this. I think he's related to Nick Cannon.
Nick Cannon.
Yeah,
One
Yes.
of his children?
No.
I'm kidding.
I think
I'm kidding.
I feel like he's been on Wild and Out before.
Oh.
concur. I
Can you
actually,
tell us what the clues were for that, Brooke? Sorry.
yeah. His thing was that his brother was an athlete with an NAACP award. Has Nick Cannon won an NAACP award?
Yes.
Okay, then that's definitely a possibility then. Because Nick Cannon, not an athlete, no matter how
No.
much Drumline wants to try to convince you that he. Um, but you know,
It is his brother, and he has won the NAACP award, but he's not an athlete. But I feel like I've seen him on Wild and Out before because Nick has his brothers on the show from time to time to do stuff.
what? Yeah, because
And they
Nick
don't look
like
that much alike to me.
They don't.
the
And
only
his other brother doesn't look like him either.
yeah. But for me, I definitely am like right there with you, Lana. I think it's very likely because he does look really similar to Nick Cannon, and also he does fit the two truths and a lie, which does help.
And he's so funny, and he's like quick witted when it comes to like he's acting when around these people. Like I feel like Gabriel's so quick witted, and he knows how to do comebacks like Nick Cannon can do. So he's been on Wild and Out, so he knows how to improv. So yeah,
All
I'm just I don't
Who's our
know.
Who's our next person?
Alphabetically, that would be Hugo, and that
Okay.
one we for a fact.
Yes, that one I know for a fact.
Yeah, I
There's
know
a
too.
picture of him with his relative on the internet.
Yeah, I know for a fact who
So
he
if
is.
you really don't want to be spoiled,
Everything else has been speculation. This is like
This is a
definitive.
facts.
Mhm.
This is facts.
Part if you don't want to.
Yep. I mean,
Anybody
I
who wants?
figured
I
he
want to
was
let David. I want you to say it because
okay.
we've been giving ours. So you say who you
So
think.
the clues were what were they, Brooke?
That his grandfather is a Nobel Prize winning athlete.
Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
obviously the athlete part is a lie. He said as much on the show. He said
Mm-hmm.
that his grandfather was the most powerful person in the country. The only
Mm-hmm.
time I ever hear people say that term is when they are talking about a president of the United States. And which president do we know has a Nobel Prize? It is
Two
Barack
of them.
Obama.
But that's not
It
his
is not
grandfather.
Barack Obama.
Even though he does have one.
He does.
But it's not him.
His uncle, and I can see, or his grandfather, and I can see it, is one Jimmy Carter.
Yep.
That's a big deal.
It's a huge deal.
You can see it in his face too.
Yep.
Like a lot of pictures, it's similar. Also, shouts to Jimmy Carter. I love you so much.
I love Jimmy Carter.
You are one of like the coolest people on the planet. Big fan. Even if like, politics wise, don't care. I wasn't alive during then. I don't care. You were a fantastic humanitarian, and I'm so pleased you are still with us today.
I am a fan of Jimmy Carter. I was like, he was a great president. Even though I was a baby when he was president. Even I was a baby when he was president. Wasn't born. So yeah. Amazing. But yeah.
So next up is Jane alphabetically, and I am the only one who knows for a fact who she is, I think.
I have a speculation who she might be, but I don't know for a fact.
Okay. Before I do, it is that her father is a Grammy-winning musician, is her things.
So me personally feel like the father is the lie.
Yeah, same.
If I'm right.
Because I was looking at that girl in the face when she started singing and when she was doing her talent show and whatever. And I'm like, I wanted to say like maybe like one, like you said, I think you said Carney Wilson. Who said that?
Well, that was for Olivia.
But then I thought of Carney Wilson for her.
Oh, okay.
And then I was like, but no, I don't think so. She started singing and she had a little twang in her little voice. It was a little bit of a twang. Just if you listening for it, it's a little bit. But I think her relative is a country singer. That's what I think.
Oh, Lana, you are hitting the jackpot today.
Oh.
Hi.
If I am certain, I am 99.99%.
Okay.
That not only is she related to one Miss Dolly motherfucking Parton.
Stop it!
I have met her before because I used to go to Dollywood all the time, and I'm pretty sure I've ran into her at Dollywood before. So I think that Jane is Dolly Parton's niece.
Oh my god. Wow. I
just
heard the twang in her voice and I was like, she gotta be related to a country singer singing like that.
And Dolly, doesn't have any kids, has brothers and sisters, and she has a lot of nephews. Yeah. So I'm pretty sure. I'm like, this is outside of Hugo, this is the one I'm the most certain about.
Okay. I didn't see that at all, so
it was the twang that got me. I was like, she gotta be a country singer or around country singing. Like, you don't just pick up that voice just, without something. I don't know. It just, I don't know. It just got me. So who's next?
All right. So next alphabetically is the man with the broken ligaments himself, JR.
Oh, not JR. Oh, no, not JR. Okay.
So JR's things was that his brother is a musician with an NBA championship ring. To me, it's either a brother that is a musician or a brother that is the NBA champion, because I don't know any musicians who have an NBA championship ring unless you're talking about Victor Oladipo. So, and he does not look like Victor Oladipo at all. So yeah. I don't think it's Victor Oladipo.
And musician wouldn't be the first thing that you would describe Victor Oladipo with.
For sure. Indiana Pacer, maybe? Indiana Pacer?
I hope it's a musician in the what was it? NBA. I hope that's the lie, because I don't care about sports. Sorry.
I am not sure between two. I don't think he is related to a basketball player based on that talent show. But then again, he could have been sandbagging the whole thing, so we don't know.
I don't think he's related to a basketball player.
Yeah. We also, I don't think we know how old JR is. Yeah, we don't know his age yet, according to Wikipedia. So who knows?
And he says his brother.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't think he's in the NBA. Whoever his brother's an NBA player. I do think he might be a musician, but maybe not an NBA player. And that leads me to believe that either he's a rapper or R&B singer,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm leaning more towards rapper. I don't know, but I don't know who. I don't know who.
No idea. So,
No
Next
idea.
week, look, next week I'll come back with some more thoughts. I don't know right now.
to be determined later group.
Right, definitely TBD.
Okay, so next up is our lovely songbird Carson. She says her uncle is a famous musician who was inducted into the Hall of Fame. Does not specify which hall.
That shouldn't be allowed. That's too vague.
Yeah, but I also feel like if she's who I think she is, it would have been a dead giveaway.
How do you have ideas for everybody?
Well, because I'm a Masked Singer bitch, and Claim to Fame is just Masked Singer with less famous people.
Okay. Do you research?
Oh, I researched for like.
Okay, that makes sense then.
For each
I don't research. I come off like whoever comes to the top of my brain. That's what I stick with.
I'm sorry. She said her relative did what now?
Was her uncle that was inducted into the Hall of Fame. Does not say which Hall of Fame. God knows we have.
What was the third one?
What was the occupation?
A musician.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Carson. Definitely not a musician.
I mean, I don't know.
But just because you can't sing, they can sing, don't mean you can sing either. But
totally with Lana on that one, not a musician.
But I don't. Her uncle.
What is a Hall of Fame? Is that like a sports thing specifically?
I mean, but that's everything. It's a rock and roll Hall of Fame. It's a sports Hall of Fame. It's a, everybody has halls of fame.
Basically, it means you were ridiculously impactful in a specific area enough to be recognized for your talents.
Right. Yeah. Because they have, like I said, they got a rock and roll Hall of Fame. They got a NFL Hall of Fame. They got an NBA Hall of Fame. They got they got golf Hall of Fame and NASCAR Hall of Fame. Everybody has.
There's a drag race Hall of Fame.
There probably will be if it's not there yet.
All-star winners.
Yeah, anyone versus a drag race Hall of Famer. So do you guys have a guess whatsoever? Because I have a guess.
No,
I don't.
Now, to be clear, I'm not really confident in this, but it does at least fit the clues, so I can do that. I think the lie is that her uncle is a musician. I don't think he's a musician. I do think he is a Hall of Famer, specifically for the NASCAR Hall of Fame. Because my guess is Dale Earnhardt Jr. Because they have a lot of like similar facial structure things going on.
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
I about to say, I don't know who Dale Earnhardt Jr. is.
Oh, really?
So, I mean, I've heard he. I've heard he.
You know the name.
I heard the name. He drives NASCAR, but I don't watch NASCAR.
You know Earnhardt is, Lana?
I don't watch NASCAR. Okay. I'm a black woman. Even though I live in Alabama, where Talladega is, and NASCAR comes, I don't watch NASCAR, baby. We don't do that. That's something we don't do.
I have no problem saying this whatsoever because I don't live there anymore. I used to live in Bristol, Tennessee, right? And that is where Bristol Motor Speedway is. I am very well exposed to NASCAR was really well exposed to NASCAR on a regular basis. The only reason I think it could be Dale Earnhardt Jr. is because I feel like it's a nice little random thing, right? It's someone who is well known to the average person. You've at least heard the name, right? But nobody is going to immediately go NASCAR, right? Now, again, I am definitely grasping at straws here. It could also be like a Pro Football Hall of Famer, but I don't know anybody in football, so that's a big L for me. But I don't know. And also, there's a lot of white men in NASCAR, so it seems like the best guess I have.
Who knows?
Who knows?
Who's next?
Next up, alphabetically, is Monet.
Okay.
You have a clue about now?
Barely even remember who Monet is. She's black?
Yes.
Okay. She didn't talk too much throughout the episode.
Correct.
She was the first one to be introduce herself. in the
well,
feathery pantsuits, jumpsuits.
I don't remember her clues at all either.
All right. She said her father is an Emmy-winning athlete,
Oh yeah.
which to me, that's really good coverage because you can win an Emmy for about anything. So,
I mean, Kobe Bryant had an Emmy and an Oscar,
There we go.
but it's not Kobe,
I know. I'm just kidding.
unfortunately.
that would be
That would be dope if somebody was related to Kobe, but then that'd be make me cry because I miss Kobe. But an Emmy winning athlete.
I have no idea with her. There's too many people that fit all of this criteria.
I don't know. TBD.
Yeah, TBD. Also, she had like so. All right. Next up is Olivia. Which that is the redhead you spoke of earlier.
Yes.
So Olivia said her brother is a famous TV personality with, this is probably my favorite famous award, was that he had a Razzie, which
Oh yeah. So this could not be Carney Wilson then.
I love the Razzies like so much, like the idea of the Razzie, so I was very happy to hear that.
I'm guessing the Razzie is the lie though.
I don't know, the Razzie might be the truth.
I mean, to me, so many people have won Razzies. Like, so many people.
But do you think their relative would want them bringing that up?
Yes!
It depends on who the relative is, because some people live for their Razzie and they're very
Sandra
excited
Bullock
about
accepted hers. Halle Berry accepted hers.
Yeah, right. So I feel like it depends on who the celebrity is and what they got their Razzie for. But like, what her clues were, they won the Razzie. Who was it? Her brother,
famous personality who has won a Razzie.
A famous personality that won a Razzie.
Yeah, it's but I mean, the TV and the Razzie don't go together because you don't win a Razzie for TV. It's all movies. So it's like a cameo.
But they put so many random people into Razzie nominations. True. So like if Anderson Cooper did like a cameo as a reporter in something, he could get a nomination for a Razzie. It's like, it really does not take much to get a nomination for a Razzie.
They really just said a TV personality. That doesn't mean they don't do movies also. They just said a TV personality, which means that's what they're doing now, is a TV personality. So I feel like that could still be it, but I don't know. I'm not sure. She is also TBD for me because I have no idea. I don't know. Who is next?
So we all agree we don't know an Olivia?
We don't know Olivia. She's TBD.
Next up is Shane. Now, I will say this. Did not know for certain until I saw that Rebus puzzle and I figured out the Rebus puzzle. But now that I know the answer to the Rebus puzzle, I'm certain.
Yeah. Can we first go over her clues again? And then I want to lay out the Rebus puzzle for Lana, see if she can figure out where we are with it.
I did not figure out the Rebus puzzle, but I figured out by looking at her face.
Oh, okay. We'll save that until...
I will save that.
Shane said her famous relative is her father, who is a Grammy-winning musician. And I'm right is that they're not a musician. At least that's not what it's known for. Is that they're not. They did have.
What was the Rebus puzzle, by the way?
Okay, so it starts off with a crown. Do you see it in front of you, Brooke? You had it pulled up earlier, but it has like a plane kind of flying somewhere. And then, shoot, I don't know what's next, but it does have a deer and some wheat next to it at the end. What's another word for a deer? A male deer? What's a male deer?
Reindeer?
What is a male deer called? A buck.
Yeah.
So buckwheat
Mm-hmm.
at the
Mm-hmm.
end. Okay.
I mean, you didn't have to tell me that. I got it from The Crown and the Plane.
Oh, so you already know who it is?
Yeah, yeah. I told you I knew who she was when I looked at
And
her
where
face.
is that? Where is that plane going?
It's coming to America, baby, with The Crown. You are King Joffrey Joffrey's son. Because I know you're not fooling me, Eddie Murphy's daughter. I'm not fooled by her. Because when I looked at her picture, because like I saw her on the show, she was somebody who I wasn't paying that much attention to on the show. I'll put that out there. But then the clue, I looked at it and I was like, not really, not sure. Because me, I don't do well at Reba's puzzles. That's just it. But when I did see the crown and the plane, but I wasn't. And then it had America, like literally flying to America. That was the map of America. I was like, okay, possibly. Then when I just looked through her pictures, the pictures of the cast, and I saw her, I was like, oh, you. I see
Did
it
it
all
make
in
you
her
want to
face.
party
She
all the
looked like her
time?
mom, right? And he is kind of a musician,
Right.
Yeah.
and he did win a Grammy.
Yeah.
I
It's just
think
he's won a Grammy for a comedy album
For
before.
comedy
Right.
album. Okay, that makes sense.
Oh yeah,
And-
for yeah.
Yeah, and even then, even if he hadn't, right? He's been a musician. He was a musician first, really. He was a musician.
Right. I mean, he
So-
was
Well,
he was not a
comedian
musician
first.
first. He was a comedian. I mean, but he has done music. He has recorded. He's done songs with people and Party All the Time. Come on,
Party
I
All
love
the
that
Time
song.
is a hit too.
It's a
That's a
hit.
good
It's a bop.
song.
I don't care what nobody say. You don't have to like it, but I like it. So yeah, Shane is definitely Eddie Murphy's daughter, which I still kind of like love that for them. And but she looks like her mom. If you've seen Nicole, she looks like her mom, but she has some Eddie Murphy features that make you go, okay, I see you, girl. But she looks like her mom. I feel like she needs to talk more because she got her shyness from her mom and her dad. Because Eddie Murphy does not talk a lot. People will be surprised to know he's a very shy person when he's not acting. If he's not on, he's very quiet and reserved. And so I'm like, she's just naturally quiet and reserved. Like both of her parents were quiet and reserved. So I'm pretty sure that her household was never like out, like out there. Like she's not on 24/7. Like people expect her to be. So that's why she like chilling with my blanket, walking around, looking at people. That's just, I get it now. Now that I know who she is, I'm like, that makes sense. But she gonna have to step it up if she want to play the game.
Yeah.
All right. So our last contestant remaining is Travis.
I know who he is. I know who he is.
On the surface level, if you read what he said about his two truths and one lie, it is remarkably well covered up.
Mm-hmm.
But if you know one tiny little fact about who I think his celebrity relative is, it wipes the whole thing out of the way. So his thing was that his celebrity relative is his father, who actor with a Critics' Choice Award. Now, you may not know this, but in 2014, Neil deGrasse Tyson won a Critics' Choice Award for Best Reality TV Show Host. So...
Don't you mean Neil deGrasse Tyson?
The Neil deGrasse Tyson. I was like, stop calling that man Neil deGrasse Tyson, please. That is not his name. But yeah.
Wait, wasn't Drake on that show?
Drake was on Degrassi.
Wheelchair Jimmy. Also, if we ever cover like non-reality TV scripted content,
we do.
Whenever we get like the open discussion forum phase, one episode series retrospective on Degrassi at some point because I fucking love it. And I know that I am surrounded by gay people on this damn podcast. I relate that have all watched Degrassi in their life.
Not this one.
Well,
past your prime, David.
I guess.
I watched the old Degrassi's. See, this is the we go talk about it. We go talk about Degrassi. We need to go back to when Degrassi was on PBS and not on cable. But I used to watch the old Degrassi, and then they went away, and then all of a sudden came back to this new Degrassi, and I was like, "Who is this? And what is?" No, thank you. Not my Degrassi.
Regardless,
I mean, because I watched the Degrassi Junior High. Let you get that. It was Degrassi Junior High. Then it was Degrassi High.
Spike icon queen. Pretty sure Travis is Neil deGrasse Tyson's son.
Oh,
yeah.
When he did the pie, I was like, boy, boy.
So I have a confession. I've heard the name Neil deGrasse
You don't know
Tyson,
who Neil deGrasse
but I
Tyson
don't really know who he is. Like, I wouldn't even be able to point him out in a lineup.
So Neil deGrasse Tyson, astrophysicist.
Okay.
But he also just does a lot of other things. He the TV shows, like he does cameos in TV shows. He's hosted some stuff. He does a lot.
Have you heard of Bill Nye the Science Guy?
Of course.
He is like the black version of Bill Nye the Science Guy. Like he's done science shows and things like that. And so he's like the black version of Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Only an actual doctor with a doctorate.
Yeah, but he's an astrophysicist and actually knows all this stuff that he's talking about. Like, not saying that Bill Nye doesn't know what he's talking about, but this man actually went to school, did the things, and knows all of this stuff. He's a very smart man, and he's done TV shows and hosted reality shows and things like of that sort. So
he would be quite a bit older than Travis, right?
I think is how old Neil deGrasse Tyson is. Let me check.
I think Neil deGrasse Tyson also had young wives or young women. So he wasn't just sticking to his older, counterparts. So his mom, Travis's mom, is probably of the younger generation from Neil deGrasse Tyson. But yeah, I feel like that's him too. I feel like that's who he is. But but that's it. That's it. Because we talked about Carly, and we know that's Tom Hanks's uncle. But yeah, go ahead.
Before we wrap up here, I must ask, if you were going to just go ahead and say right now, based on how the game is positioned and how everybody's playing, who is your front runner?
Oh, it's Chris for me. Chris definitely, I think, is giving me winner vibes. So
I would tend to agree with you, but I would say I'm tied between Gabriel and Jane. I think they are giving, I feel Jane is a little, she go come up. Like, we go see her in the next few weeks, she go come up. But I feel like Gabriel is somebody who people, especially Carly, and he called him dumb publicly out loud to all those people. He go play that up, and people will go start to believe that he's dumb, and he's so funny, and he's going to amp it up later on in the season. I can see him.
I agree with all of those. My pick for Jane. I think she definitely has one, she is funny, and I appreciate some quality humor in my reality show contestants. But two, she also just seems like she has a really good head on her shoulders, and that she understands the game she is playing very well. Nobody has even attempted to clock her yet. Nobody has said her name at all, and that's exactly the position. Now, I don't think anybody has said Gabriel or Chris's name either that I can remember.
No.
But so I think all three of us have very good picks.
Yeah, they're all three of those are giving me main character energy.
Yeah, main character energy for sure.
Also, Carson is also kind of getting a little bit of main character energy as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I definitely feel like Carson might end up being like the Britney of the season and go out kind of early but have a lot of camera time. But I feel like they might give her more in the next couple episodes.
Look out for Monet. I don't know in what capacity she's going to be, but I feel like whoever her relative is not going to be somebody they can just easily pick up. And people are just going to automatically know. And I feel like she'll be able to coast on that nobody is going to attempt to guess her because they have no idea who
Mhm.
she's related to.
I'd also just go ahead and say we'd be kind of remiss not to bring up Hugo and Travis as well. They're both playing the game pretty well. I mean, Hugo literally said, "Oh, Carly's giving me information. Yeah, I know who your relative is, and I'm cutting you." Like,
I mean, he had no other choice. Like
Right.
you don't know who anybody is. You only know her. You got to go for what you know at the first guess, or you going home.
Mhm.
So
true.
Yep.
that was savage. Yes, and is he gaming? Yes, but his back was against the wall. He had no other choice but to go for Carly.
But to be
Yep.
fair, also the only like known quantity of an alliance we have right now, so we could at least bring them up. But I mean, true. But I mean, again, it's the first episode. They got to introduce everybody, do the talent show. Both of those things take up a decent amount of time.
Right.
So
I will say one thing that I'm very excited to see this season. So the first season, we all love to see women dominate the game, and that's what happened. We only Logan like made it decently far among the male players. But I am excited to see a bunch of men that don't feel like they're just chum with a bunch of sharks circling around. Like I'm excited to see how the men are going to play this time. So should be
I
interesting.
I mean, if you ask me, Logan even kind of coasted on riding some of those ladies' coattails at times. So I mean, nobody batted 1,000 that season except for LC. That is just my
Right.
opinion.
He definitely
But
was the Jason to the Danielle.
Oh, here. I mean, period. But I mean, yeah, sure, men, rah, 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 get it together, do your thing. But I will always and forever root for the ladies. And I want them to do well. And I want them to dominate. And I want them to show these boys that we're smarter than you. Always, period. But
I'm
if the
rooting.
men happen to come together and do well, I
Oh,
will
I
be
don't want
happy for
that.
them.
I just want to see a
No, I don't want them
balanced
to come
dynamic.
together. I just want them to do well.
Yeah, and for me personally, I root for anybody who brings me entertainment.
Mhm.
So right now, I am rooting for Jane. I am rooting for Gabriel. I am rooting for Hugo. Uh, I guess I'm
Okay.
rooting for Bill. He didn't really have a lot of
Right.
like fun screen time, but he's at least playing the game, and I appreciate that.
And I am rooting for anybody black, like I always do. So there
Mhm.
we go. And on that note, we are going to say goodbye, farewell, and I'll be the thing and deploy because it's time to go. But we will be back next week to talk about Claim to Fame on this famous Family Fridays.
Wait, you
Because
said family.
Steve
Steve
Harvey is my
Harvey?
dad. He's my dad.
Yep.
Steve
He's
Harvey.
he's my dad. Um, because look at my eyes. But Famous Family Fridays are here, and so we will be back next Friday with another episode of Claim to Fame. And we're gonna see if any of our TBDs have turned into speculations, have turned into we know for sure who they
And
are.
for know for sure has got proven right.
Right. We'll see if the ones that we think we know actually are who they say they are.
Mhm.
So thank you all for joining. We appreciate you spending your time with us to listen to us talk about Claim to Fame. Do what you do. See all the links below on the YouTube page. Like, follow, share, subscribe. We appreciate you. Share, share, share. This is our new channel, The Cup TV. So we want to build up our new, if our fan base on this channel as well. But if you want to see all of our other content, go to our main page on the cup on the cup. It's the cup. It's the cup of reality. It's the other one. Our main channel, we talk about everything drag race. Everything drag race. And when I say everything, I mean everything drag race. But on this channel, you will get all on this channel, you'll get all of our reality TV shows that we just love to talk about, like Claim to Fame and others. So check us out, follow, share, like, get your cup merch,
Mhm.
lanag'screation.etsy.com, period. Follow us on Twitter so you can get all the notifications on when we're going to drop our next videos, which will be tomorrow, by the way, on this, while we're doing this one. But the Cup Pod on Twitter, and then just follow us. We're cool on Twitter, I guess. Maybe, possibly. We're nice.
And comment on the video.
Comment below. Tell us who you think people are. Now, if you did your research and you just know who everybody is, okay, we'll take it.
Impressed?
I mean, I'll be impressed that you did all that. But if you don't know, you're just speculating like some of us are, give us some comments below. Tell us if you think we're right, if you think we're wrong, or whatever. But we appreciate you so much. And then I'm going to stop rambling because it's time to go. So, yeah. Cheers, y'all.
Bye.
Cheers.
Bye.
I deserve more camera time.
You guys are weird. Let's get out of here.